All right, we have big changes happening at Amazon. Amazon is starting to push palm reading technology, palm scanning technology for your purchases. They're touting it as being safe, but I believe, like this story says, is a form of digital enslavement. On the cusp of a central bank digital currency coming out in the US in the next between 6 months and a year and a half, and those aren't my words, that's our central bank telling us. We are about to see massive changes where one day you will start to see a chip being implanted in people in their right hand or their forehead to be able to purchase securely. We need to be prepared and warn people of these changes because a lot of people are going to be deceived. And under the guise or the thoughts of more security, people are going to fall for this trap. Now, this story I have comes out of Zero Hedge. It's entitled "Experts Warn of Digital Enslavement as Amazon Pushes Palm Scan Payment Service." Do me a favor, type 1 if you know that this is leading to something much bigger as far as the RFID chip technology. Type 2 if this is the first time you've ever heard of this or possibly don't think there's anything really wrong with it. I want to hear your thoughts. E-commerce giant Amazon has just launched new tech that makes it far easier to sign up for its palm scanning payment service, sparking renewed concerns among privacy experts, with some warning it's another pebble in the growing rock pile of big tech enabled Orwell-style digital enslavement. Now, I will say, how many of you type 4 if you remember Amazon really pushing to do humanless stores where there was no employees in the stores? They have them around some airports around the country where you would go in and you would buy something and you would digitally check out as you left. And there are security systems monitoring if you stole anything, you went through the checkout lines. This is akin to what IBM did about 20 years ago when they made a series of commercials that played where you would walk through a scanner and you wouldn't have to pay anything because on your person, a part of your body was keeping track of your purchases. This is preparing people for not thinking about the ramifications of what we are giving up, not only in our physical liberties and privacy, but also in our spiritual future. These are very serious times. And one thing leads to another, which leads to another. Then before you know it, people, which already I believe over 2 million Americans have an RFID chip implanted in their right hand, right about here. It sits as about the size of a grain of rice, and you can see when somebody squeezes, it pops out right there. And actually, it's easy when you go to shake someone's hand and your thumb can touch it. I've seen it personally. And I can also say without a shadow of a doubt that when you look into the person's eyes that have those, they are completely black. And I'm not joking when I say this. This isn't a sense to scare people. This is to wake people up. There are already millions of people in their country with an RFID chip in their right hand. It's very real. There are companies that require it for security purposes. And little by little, people are being not moralized, but desensitized to what is happening in our country. Now, we're talking again about Amazon. It says Amazon announced on March 28th, just a couple of days ago, that it had just launched a new app that lets first-time users of its Amazon One biometric payment service sign up for it from the comfort of their home by taking a photo of a hand and uploading it to Amazon servers. If you wouldn't mind, I've started a new, I've never done this, a newsletter, because there are some things that I cannot share on these applications because they won't want to share it. News articles, things like that. And it also keeps you up to date of what videos are coming out because those don't tend to get shared either. I put a link down below if you wouldn't mind following that. Stories like this are very important for people to understand. So as you type things out, I appreciate it. I appreciate my moderators that are in here. I also really greatly appreciate when you share these videos on things like Facebook groups where there's 100,000 people and just post it out there and say, did anybody know about this? And warn the masses. It says here, until today, customers had to visit a physical location to hover their palm over an Amazon One device to sign up for the service. Similar to what I was telling you that was going on in airports around the country. They don't want to employ people anymore. They want to take your security, and they don't want to employ people, and then they want you to buy their stuff. We need to bring back mom and pop, small to medium sized businesses in our country, or our country is going to be destroyed from within, because these conglomerates are gobbling up the other businesses and destroying our nation from within. Type 5 if you agree with that. Our country was built on small businesses, entrepreneurs coming from all over the world, gaining citizenship, a melting pot of amazing personalities and ideas. We need to go back there, and we need to wake the nation up right now, because this is a very serious time. Now, again, before now, you had to go into a store and have your palm scanned. Now it's as easy as your phone, which means if they have that kind of technology, what is your phone recording when you're not wanting it to? Scanning your face, scanning the area around it. These are very, very serious times. Now it says here, the benefit for users, according to Amazon, is convenience. Again, it's always under convenience, right? Retailers are promised benefits from faster lines and more frictionless in-store experience, says Amazon, whose palm scanners are found in numerous retail locations across the country and have been used over 8 million times. When Amazon first announced in 2020 that it was rolling out its biometric payment service, a number of privacy experts sounded the alarm, with some calling it a terrible idea, because they knew there are few laws to hold big tech accountable for keeping Americans' sensitive personal information safe. How many times have you gotten a call, or we've seen an email, or we've seen a news headline, Target, your information was just hacked, it's been breached. Walmart, your information's just breached. A big bank, your information's just been breached. Sorry, someone's got it now. Who pays for that? Think about this. You see, I want people to understand this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. How that chip is going to come into existence is because all these new technologies that people are diving into, especially the younger generations, because they are being raised by the media. They're being raised by big media. They're being raised by the school system. They're not being raised by good-hearted human beings, because the divorce rate is up, and we have all these hard things going on. The school system, the media is telling you that you can't raise your kids, that they're gonna raise them, right? They're desensitizing them. And what's gonna happen is everyone's gonna get on this bandwagon with these payment systems. I will not be signing up for these payment systems. But at last, at a certain point, you'll have no choice. And the reason why is because they're gonna have this massive data breach. And they're gonna say the only way to save yourself and to save your identity and to save your finances is to put something under your skin that allows the battery to be charged by the heating and cooling of your skin, your body. This is technology that's been patented for over 25, 30 years. Go and look at check out VeriSign or VeriChip. They're gonna say you got to do it, and they're gonna slowly let people get in, like the millions of people in America that already have that chip. I know it's hard to believe there's over 2 million people in this country with that chip in their right hand, until the last holdouts are there, and then they're gonna force you. These are very serious times. It says now the launch of Amazon's new app could turbocharge the handing over of biometric data to a company with a history of data leaks and breaches has drawn fresh criticism. Much of the renewed criticism centers on the idea that Amazon is making it easier to harvest more personal data that could potentially be exploited as a part of tech-enabled system of social surveillance and control. Amazon did not respond to a request for comment of this story. Here's the other question. Will Amazon be selling this data to the government? Type 6 if you believe they will be. Type 7 if you believe no, they're not gonna. This is just something they're doing to keep their company going or thriving. But type 6 if you believe that no, we believe that this information will be sold, and not necessarily the government, could be going to the highest bidder. Think about that. It's like putting in your cheek swab a DNA test to see who you're related to, only to find out that that information's been given over to powers that be to do harm, to build the next virus, the next illness. You can already see where I'm overstepping my bounds here, so please do me a favor and sign up for that newsletter. You can see where I'm going with all of this. And there are people that don't want this kind of logic, not information. This is logic. When you start to put these small pieces together, a big piece of puzzles, more and more, it creates that canvas, that big, wide view, 10,000 foot view. And you're going, I can see where this is headed. And I hope you understand that this is why one of my passions is to build businesses in America, because this is how we fight this. This is how we make people rich, and then prosperity grows and grows, and then what we do is we take out the oligarchs. Now, this portion is called Digital Cattle. James Lindsay, founder of New Discourses and author of several books, including Race, Marxism, and Social Injustice, told the Epoch Times that he sees the development as fresh evidence of a broader push towards tech-enabled digital enslavement. By the way, of a series of nodes that include central bank digital currencies, universal bank basic income, and China-style social credit system. These are all three things that I have been warning and trying to wake the masses up. And I am so grateful to all of you that keep sharing my stuff and keep resubscribing as you're unsubscribed. If y'all don't mind checking that, that would be great. It is real, he said, when asked about the risk of digital enslavement at the hands of a tech-driven constellation of mechanisms that includes China's social credit score system, which lets the communist-controlled surveillance state push and reward people for certain behaviors, and which are being copied in a number of countries. He says, we have not implemented the Chinese system here fully yet, he said. If we had, we wouldn't be having this conversation. They wouldn't allow it. Because we don't have a lot of time. And during this next economic crash that I want to tell you, I know with all my heart, is a planned event. In that plan, you will be given currency, digital currency. And my goal is that you won't need it to pay bills or to feed your families. You'll go buy solid assets with it, if you so choose. Because the majority of people won't do that. And it's intended to fire off the dopamine in your brain, in your body, to take over and to get you that much more excited about that system. We have got one shot right now. One shot, because they have already started this mass media blitz to cover up what they are doing. And they are going to throw a Hail Mary at our nation and at the world's economies. Because if that doesn't work, they're going to take us to shooting war. Because they want this digital enslavement around the world. And a group of elites want to run it and own it. That's why we have to get out of debt right now. This ain't a Dave Ramsey show. This is very serious. I want you in a position to conquer and to take over, not to be a victim. And I don't know how to get this voice, this word to the masses. Now think about this. I do a video about Tyson chicken or Chick-fil-A, and the algorithm shares it like crazy. I do one about biometric scanning in Amazon, and I can tell right here at the peak of views today, based off of 4 years of work, it doesn't want to share it. So this is on you to share it with other channels, to share it with other people, because these are just the starts of something much more sinister. It says here the basic idea he outlined of how digital cattle system would work effectively is thanks to several pieces. UBI, a social credit system that's tied to financial rewards and punishments, a bonus system that sits on top of UBI that gives extra rewards for excellent social credit, as well as an education system that locks kids in. Mr. Lindsay, who has been a vocal critic of wokeism in education, added that the key to making the system of digital enslavement work is data. Do you believe this is a serious threat to our national security and the security of your family? Type 10. And I ask you to type 10 and keep typing 10 to wake up the algorithm right now, to piss off the algorithm and go, well, I guess this is what the people want to hear. They want to hear what these big companies are doing. That's what happens when you start commenting on these videos and hit the thumbs up. It fights what the algorithm is trying to fight, and they go, well, we need to make money, and this is what the people want. They want the truth. It says, Mr. Lindsay said this network of digital mechanisms of social control would be stacked against users, rewarding them in extremely fake and meaningless ways, like in video games, while the punishments could be very real. So you don't fly, you don't travel, you don't eat bugs and lentils, you turn in your neighbors, you watch propaganda, you take the data harvesting quizzes or play the data harvesting games, etc., and you get special bonus credits above a basic allotment you can sell for perks, he wrote. While Amazon didn't respond to a request for comment on the criticism of its artificial intelligence-powered palm scanning payment service, it said in its announcement that it maintains a high bar for both customer privacy and data security. The company says the images taken via the Amazon One app are encrypted and sent to a secure area on its cloud servers. You know, we're in sort of a cancel culture where people get canceled for telling the truth, right? But we're starting to move into a boycott culture where if a company does something that we don't agree with and we stop using their services, we start boycotting them, and it makes the media really fast. Let me ask you this. How do we start a boycott Amazon movement? Tell them that this isn't going to work. I think it's time to start that, but I can't do it alone. We need help. We need people to be rocking and rolling. Do you notice as everybody's typing 10s right now because they take this as a very serious threat by typing 10 to their security, their family's security, but also our national security? Look at how many people just jumped on. 100 extra people like that. That's what happens when you voice over the algorithms. It says here, closing of the totalitarian circle. Some critics have argued that fears of an Orwellian system of digital enslavement are overblown because there's a slim chance of its adoption given the public pushback to progressive phenomena like pushing critical race theory in schools or the algo's not going to like this because their AI is listening to all this. Diversity, equity. Diversity is just another word for racism. Type 11 if you agree with that. Critical race theory in schools or the fostering of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies on corporate workers. That's the hope, Mr. Lindsay said when asked for comment on the view that the bubble of wokeism is a fleeting excess of modern culture and is already popping. It's only a hope, he cautioned, however. Asked about how big the risk of an Orwellian system of digital enslavement that treats people like digital cattle being implemented in the United States, Mr. Lindsay offered hope, but warned of risk. The risk is real, he said, but I'm also optimistic that they've lost the ability to truly implement if we keep exposing and speaking up about it. Look, you all know that I have been trying to wake people up, and I thank Newsweek for covering when I went on about the cancellation or the boycotting of Bud Light. I'm grateful that there are people at Newsweek that are following the channel. I need more information from you. You have my email. You know how to get a hold of me if there's more boycotting going on, because I have a megaphone, and we all have a megaphone. We all have the opportunity to share things, but I want to get these serious topics like your hand being scanned to pay for payment systems, which is the next building block in a mark of the beast system in your right hand or your forehead. I know it sounds hard to believe, but trust me, if I would have told you 10 years ago we'd be paying with the palm of our hands, you'd probably think I was crazy then too. And this economic crash that is already well underway and planned is going to deliver those results sooner than later if we don't warn people. There is a way to push back, and we are doing it with our votes, with our money. Let's start boycotting some more companies. Hashtag boycott Amazon underneath. Let's see what happens. The Economic Ninja is out.